Hello and welcome to your GG replay for Monday, July 5th, 2021. We made it, guys. It's Monday. We made it to another week. GG Replay is a Monday, Wednesday, Friday show where we break down the latest in gaming news, hosted by the Goodnight Groofs, a place for games and a place for goofs. Still workshopping that slogan there. I am here. My name is Paul, and always I am joined by Matt. How are you doing today, Matt? How was your weekend? Did you have a good 4th of July weekend over there in the United States of America?
I did. It was pretty good. Didn't go crazy, but watched some fireworks. Had some fireworks in the neighborhood. My dog, I'm proud of my dog because she did really well. She didn't really get upset by the fireworks at all. She would start barking, but only to bark at other dogs who were barking at the fireworks. So yeah, it's great. It doesn't bother her at all. It's funny. My in-laws, their dog, they have to like put him in a Thunder shirt, put him and like he goes and hides it in the closet in the dark. And so yeah, we lucked out with our dog. But yeah, she was very really good. Cool. I was proud of her. But yeah, it was a good 4th. It was chill. We ate some watermelon outdoors to get the true 4th of July feel. And
perfect place to eat some watermelon, I feel like, is outdoors.
Yeah, it was a good time.
It's not an indoor food. It's really, I think it's a little messy. Also, I have dropped more than my fair share of watermelons on the ground and had them explode.
Oh my god!
I mean, it only happened once, but I think that's more than my fair share.
Yeah,
0 is the fair amount that you're allowed to do that. We still ate it. But you know,
we got
It's got a built-in shell. It's like a turtle. You just flip it over, built-in bowl.
Yeah. Don't go dropping turtles. The fair share on that is 0 as well.
0 as well, absolutely. There's no fair share to drop these things. Corrections from the previous show, we didn't have any because we're perfect. But just to remind everyone, if you come across any necessary corrections in today's episode, please send them to ggreplayshow@gmail.com. Or if you're watching this on YouTube and looking at our lovely faces, please feel free to comment below so we can address them in the next episode. We're putting you guys on notice. If you guys get your red pens out, you teachers, and mark our work so that we don't mess anything up in the news.
But grade us on a curve.
Yeah, absolutely. Make sure you grade us for style too. We really want that. It's really what we're
and for
going
effort, right?
And for effort, not for spelling, because you don't know how I'm spelling these words in my head. Could be spelling them anyway. Did you think anyone? I think there was like a Reddit thread. Is it like a thing? Some people like think about things in their head. They have a running monologue or something. Say things, and I think everyone does both. That's really confusing to me, but I was wondering if anyone like spells out words in their head before they say them, or they can see them written.
I don't do that, but I can imagine
I definitely don't do that, but it's an interesting thought. And then but I'm imagining doing that and then you spell everything wrong.
Oh yeah,
but it sounds
I know some
normal.
people who would do that.
Jumping right into the stories here, big one for us MMO nerds over here. Final Fantasy XIV broke its concurrent player record on Steam this weekend, hitting over 47,000 players. Now, it's important to note that this is not a Steam-only game. In fact, a lot of people play this in the Square Enix launcher. So, it's not going to give you, obviously, the total number, but this is definitely a big stride, and definitely a lot of people play it on Steam. So pretty crazy. Matt, do you want to kind of run down some of the factors that we think led to this? Because I think there's definitely a few things we can tangibly notice, and it's not a random occurrence.
Yeah. So this can likely be attributed to 2 major things. So one, the game was on Steam sale this weekend.
Big deal.
And so yeah, I know I picked it up last year at some point when it was on sale. So yeah, it's one of those games you want to get on sale, Paul.
Yeah, for sure.
But number 2, and probably the bigger reason, popular WoW streamer, and honestly, not just WoW streamer, but one of the biggest streamers on Twitch, Asmongold, was trying out the game for the first time over the weekend, and CohhCarnage was as well. Not another big streamer, not quite as big as Asmongold, but obviously people see Asmongold playing Final Fantasy XIV. All these WoW players who've never tried it before, and they're like, okay, maybe we'll give it a shot. But Asmongold averaged 142,000 viewers watching him play Final Fantasy 14 over the weekend.
Now, not everyone was psyched to see Asmon playing this, so I think it's important to note that Asmon is a famous WoW streamer. Uh, has had some issues with the game recently, as I think I don't want to take a turn, but a lot of WoW players have had as Blizzard's kind of changing course a little bit. People are saying that WoW is we're having kind of a big content drought. The last patch took 9 months to come out. A lot of people are kind of feeling a little fed up even after the patch came out. So it's kind of interesting timing that Asmon then went to Final Fantasy 14 and was kind of speaking out a little bit about World of Warcraft. And in that time, a lead project manager at Blizzard on Twitter called Asmongold an asshole. Now, obviously, there was context to this a little bit. Someone else was calling him out over different things, saying that he had uh, unsatisfactory behavior in certain groups online and things like that before. So, there's a lot of Twitch drama. But that being said, yeah, we actually have some Blizzard product managers and devs getting a little upset that Asmon has swapped games potentially. So
Yeah,
could be a hit for WoW a little bit. It's a little bit of a hit for WoW to have a major WoW streamer who's stuck with the game for a very long time to kind of try something else. And also because of this last tweet, Asmon's now speaking out more against Blizzard, and so it's creating more and more friction here.
I think one of the things that bothered Asmon in this whole thing is that the tweet came from a verified Twitter account, and a big discussion is going on now about how, like, if you're verified on Twitter because of your employer, it's not necessarily a true private Twitter account anymore. And
Yeah.
so
Oh,
I think that's people are having issue with someone who was verified because they work at Blizzard calling the
almost
biggest
like
WoW
a
streamer an asshole. You
almost
know,
kind of like libel in a way, or just kind of like not certainly pretty gauche.
just not something
Yeah.
you probably want to be doing as a higher up at Blizzard.
Yeah.
But yeah, I mean, obviously that situation aside, it's really interesting to see this happen. I personally played Final Fantasy 14 at the beginning of the whole quarantine period. I played about 30 hours of it,
Hmm.
and 35 hours. I just couldn't really get into it. I totally can see why people like the game. Totally get
Yeah.
it. Just not really for me. I know that they have since had a major patch that
Yeah.
took slimmed down the main story quest a lot. So I might be willing to go in and give it another shot.
Yep.
But that was one of my bigger issues, was just the what sometimes can become a slog of getting through that main story quest. Um, at least for the first, A Realm Reborn or whatever.
Yeah. Yeah.
Um, but yeah, this is interesting. Good for Final Fantasy. Give WoW more competition because it's going to make
Sure.
Blizzard be better. So
Yeah.
I'm all
It,
for this.
I'm all for it too, and I'm really hoping that I'm really hoping someone can. It's great to see someone call Blizzard out, and maybe we'll get some good responses. Who knows? Fingers crossed. Speaking of, well, let's shift gears to a game that people, mostly universally love. There was a little bit of backlash there too a couple years ago, but HBO's The Last of Us has finally started filming. A photo from the set was posted to Instagram by actor Gabriel Luna, who's playing Tommy, with Pedro Pascal Joel in the photo. Pretty exciting. I know Matt, as a resident Sony pony and fan of Last of Us, what are you thinking? Are you getting the heebie-jeebies? Are you getting goose pimples on your arms? Are you excited?
You're my grandmother, Goose
I
Pimples.
am. Are you getting goose pimples from the video game movie?
That would be really weird if all of a sudden you were my grandmother.
That would be so weird. Imagine if it turned out this whole time I was your grandmother and I went back in time. Anyway,
Anyway,
what are you thinking? What are you
um,
thinking?
I, I'm excited for this because I think that The Last of Us, that world and that story really lends itself well to a TV series.
I
I'm
think so too.
excited by the fact that Neil Druckmann is actually writing for the show. I'm excited that it's HBO, who is not going to shy away from really going all in on serious content.
Yep.
I think that this, I think the biggest thing that I'm excited about is there are people who are just never going to play video games,
Sure.
And I think that The Last of Us story is a worthwhile story, and so I'm happy that more people are gonna see that story who would never play the game.
Think about so many like nerdy people or people who are game adjacent who are like internet savvy. I know a lot of people like this who watched playthroughs of The Last of Us who never would pick it up just because like the story is that good. I think it's, I mean, looking at that kind of thing, this is like, I mean, just such a great idea to make. I think it's going to be hard for it not to just nail it. I think and Pedro Pascal is awesome
Pedro Pascal
casting.
can do no wrong, and
He can, yeah,
he's gonna
exactly.
be a fantastic Joel. I totally believe
Yeah.
that.
Same. I
So
think
I'm
I
excited.
think that yeah, I think it'll only lend to more, better world building and just continuing to expand the universe and keep the flame going. Well, there's going to be a lot of years where they hopefully are kind of working on something new, and so yeah, that's great.
One thing I'm really interested about too is if this story, I don't know, maybe this story branches off into its own thing. Maybe
Yeah.
it tells the story of Last of Us 1 and then tells the story of what happens between 1 and 2. I don't know. But if they do get to a point somewhere where they tell the story of part 2, I'm excited by the idea of Neil Druckmann. Now that the story already exists and the surprise with Abby and all that, spoiler alert,
Hmm.
is out there, I'm excited to see how Neil Druckmann could rework that story into just, you know, being a better,
Yeah.
more well thought out narrative,
Yeah.
and not being constrained by having to keep things secret for a game. So
Yeah. Definitely. I think that's a great idea. Focus on the journey and not the twist, and I think maybe we could get some really good stuff going with that too.
yeah,
Yeah, pretty awesome. So just as Last of Us on HBO is just beginning, Mortal Kombat 11 is coming to a close. Well, not exactly, but NetherRealm has announced via Twitter that support for Mortal Kombat 11 has come to an end. So there will be no longer any new DLC or new characters. Now, this is not necessarily a huge surprise. They were kind of, I think they'd kind of been saying for a while that they were going to do probably 2 years of support for Mortal Kombat 11. A lot of people thought, time was probably coming to an end. But that being said, from everything I'm not a huge Mortal Kombat guy, but everything I've seen kind of from online makes it seem, from online, I really am your grandma. Um, it seems like the Mortal Kombat fans are pretty sated and happy with the content they did get, and there was really, really good amounts and consistency of updates and DLC and characters. So it seems like they did what they set out to do, and they're just moving on to another project, which is pretty good. I don't think it seems to have any real negative effects besides, oh, it's too bad if it can't go on forever.
yeah. 2 years of content I feel is pretty good. I never played Mortal Kombat 11. I'm not really a fighting game guy because
Yeah,
I'm just like not skilled enough probably to be
yeah,
completely honest with the combos
we're
and all
we're too
that.
old now. Yeah, I
Yeah,
can't.
but I am like fascinated by the FGC, like the fact that the fighting game community has its own
Hmm.
like title and like they're like their own thing in gaming, and I'm fascinated by
Definitely.
that. It's really cool. Um, but I think 2 years is good, and the
Yeah.
speculation suggests that the next project is maybe a third Injustice game, which I think is cool.
Awesome. Yeah, as a non-fighting game guy, I definitely enjoyed playing the Injustice games. So I can definitely, yeah, say I'm
Did
I'm
they
hyped
have
for more Injustice.
did they have like a story in those games?
They had a very deep story in those games. Yeah, so there's like long, big cutscenes,
Oh,
stories,
okay.
alternate realities, and then it'll be like it'll kind of pit two characters against each other in the story, and then you'll have to get into a fight there or something in that moment. But the story is really, really good.
That's the other thing
And
is
I
like fighting game
Yeah,
stories have gotten really interesting because
yeah, they
so
have.
Guilty Gear Strive just came out, and like they don't have like instead of doing a story in the actual like gameplay,
Hmm.
they just straight up came out with an anime. Like
Yeah,
it's in the game.
that's basically what Dragon Ball Fighters did as well, or
Okay.
Fighter Z, or however you want to. That was the thing. It was they used Dragon Ball kind of animation, and it was just like an anime interstitially put between the fighting scenes, and it was so cool. Like it was one of the better Dragon Ball stories that's been told in a game because
Wow.
they were just able to kind of make an anime that worked within the thing. I think that's good with fighting games is you can kind of, because there's just fighting. Like I mean, it's not just, but like the like story wise, there's really just mano a mano
Right.
person against each other. They really have so much framing they have to do if they want to make a good story. So they can just basically put a movie in there, and just anytime someone would fight each other, they just make that gameplay.
Yeah.
Really cool. I really love that more devs are doing a really cool way to shape stories for fighting games.
Yeah. So I mean, from everything I understand, Mortal Kombat 11 was a hit
Yeah.
among the people that like Mortal Kombat. So even though the support for it is ending, I'm sure that game's gonna live on until Mortal Kombat 12. You know.
Yeah. I don't think Mortal Kombat is going anywhere for a long time.
Yep.
Yep. Moving on, Legacy of Kain, Soul Reaver remaster might be in the works, according to Shipshaw Nick on Twitter.
So I heard real quick, just to interrupt you here.
Did I get that wrong? Did I get the name wrong?
I learned recently. I think it's pronounced Special Nick. I think.
Oh, Special Nick,
Yeah, special Nick.
Shipshaw. We're dumb.
I said Shape Shawl before.
I did, and then I copied you. Special, I get it. Special underscore Nick on Twitter. He's a prominent leaker. He leaked the Eagle Island expansion for Ghost of Tsushima about a week before it was announced. So it's safe to say, I mean, that was certainly not a super hidden leak. It does seem like there was a lot of things pointing to that. But that being said, yeah, it's probably true. It seems like a pretty reliable leaker at this point. So, interesting to note. Legacy of Kain, we're coming back from the grave. Matt, do you have any experience playing Legacy of Kain? I know we talked about this a little bit before. I definitely do not. I only vaguely remember it. I'll be honest.
Never played it, but it seems like a game up my alley. So
Mm-hmm.
I'm all here. I'm all about a remaster. It's one of those
Yeah.
games where, as a kid walking through Blockbuster, I saw the box art a million times, but it's
Yeah.
just one of those that I never played. But yeah, I'd be remaster's an interesting thing. And I
Mm-hmm.
believe that Nick did specify that he went back and asked his source. He's like, "Is this a remaster or a remake?" And they said remaster.
Interesting.
So not as exciting as it could potentially be. I mean, like how
Yeah.
remastering a game that's 22 years old.
I know it's like dipping your toe in the water to see if people are interested, but it's also like dipping it to you're just like dipping your toenail. You can't feel if the water's cold or warm or not. You can't tell anything. You're just
Yeah.
like it's like you're not gonna people. There may be a few hardcore Legacy of Kain people who buy it, but it's certainly not gonna elicit. I guess from the what maybe it is. It's like they're leaking it and just seeing what the reaction is, and then they're like, "Psych, we're gonna make a real game."
See,
But I don't know.
when I hear remaster, I think like new coat of paint or like new coat of varnish or something like that.
Yeah, same.
Not like this is the kind of game that you need to rework from the ground up.
100%. It's old as Methuselah out there,
Yeah.
pulling out the grandma lines here. It's way too old. Not way too old, but it's certainly way too old to make a modern title and expect it to make a big splash. My big thing I think is interesting is this was originally a Crystal Dynamics game. I wonder who is going to be developing this remaster. Will it be another studio? Will it possibly be Crystal Dynamics? If it's Crystal Dynamics, does that spell a final end for this Marvel Games service that is not so much panning out the way they thought? Does this have an effect on that? I don't know. This makes me think of the Marvel game immediately when I think of Crystal Dynamics, and I wonder
So
because I'm waiting for the nail in the coffin in that game eventually to come out where they throw their hands up and go, "We admit it.
so let
It
me
was a
throw
bad
this
idea."
out there. Let me throw this out there for you. So Crystal Dynamics developed the game. The port was done by Nixxes, who was just purchased
Oh
by
my
PlayStation.
God.
So maybe we'll see the first project that Nixxes works on as a PlayStation studio is a Legacy of Kain remaster for PlayStation 5.
Did you see that in an article, or did you like research that? Did you find that yourself? That's really
When I was looking the game up on the Wikipedia
yeah.
before the show and I saw
That
that it was
is
developed by Crystal, but yeah, it was ported by Nixxes.
good catch on that. That's a very interesting. I think you're totally right. I think you nailed it. I think that could be a Nexus game. They're known for ports that they were just purchased by Sony, Square Enix. So that is good catch.
Thank
All
you,
right.
thank you. So
So that's
yeah, I will put that one on the fridge too.
yeah,
Put that
that's a
one on the
good
fridge.
yeah, we're putting that one on there. We're loading it up with our predictions. And that the beautiful fridge of predictions. If if you were trying to stream recently on Twitch, Matt, I don't know if you have been, but a lot of DMCA strikes on music. There's a lot of issues with that recently, and we use some stream beats for our podcast for the intro and outro. We Harris Heller, shout out.
Shout
But
out.
you know what? You know what? We could always use more. And so
Always.
Riot, the developers of League of Legends and Valorant, we know them well. They have released a DMCA-friendly album called Sessions Vi, centered around the character Vi from League of Legends. It's kind of her like working in her workshop is kind of the theme and building things and listening to some lo-fi chill beats. There are 37 songs, I think, around from 20 different artists. So it's not just one person. They've actually had a collaborative album. And it is about an hour and a half. So certainly enough to kind of play in the background of some streams or just loop some of the songs, look for your favorite ones. Kind of weird and cool. And I really like it. I think that it fits the Riot feel a lot. I think they know they have a lot of streamers streaming their content.
Yeah.
And it's really cool just to kind of they know what music is popular as background music in streams, and they're like, we'll release our own album. We'll get some people together, and it'll be all themed around our content. And I think it's a cool idea. It's really
Yeah.
weird and cool. I like it. I'm into it.
I like this movement of more and more people creating these DMCA friendly albums.
Yeah.
I think that like especially for like a developer like Riot to do this, it just creates goodwill for them. It
Yeah.
cannot really be that expensive for them to make this happen,
No.
since they're outsourcing all of it. So
Yeah.
it can't be that expensive. It's only going to make people like you more and
Yeah.
see you in a better light. And Riot,
Yeah.
as we know, can always use some good
They could
PR.
use some
So
good PR.
um,
Absolutely. Yeah.
yeah, I'm all about this. This is great. It's awesome.
Yeah. It's cool. Good PR. Good move, Riot. I wouldn't say good guy, Riot, but good move on the DMCA friendly music, and we look forward to hearing it ad nauseum on every stream on Twitch. Uh, just a little update too on GTA 6. We did talk about this last week on the GG replay and also on Game Groofs. Shout out to Game Groofs on goodnightgroofs.com. Jason Schreier has recently said on Twitter that he heard the same things as Tom Henderin.
Henderson, sorry, that was
Henderson, yeah, it's a typo in the notes.
type on the
Um,
notes.
the industry leaker who said last week to expect GTA 6 around 2025. So we're hearing that again. Henderson, as you also this time wrote, also said that the game would take place in Modern Vice City. So again, we're corroborating the same stuff. We're really hearing stories coming together here. And we're also hearing, an evolving map akin to stuff like Fortnite, and also the talk of multiple protagonists. So a lot of what we were kind of thinking was going to happen already, an evolving map. This to me almost kind of puts forward this idea that I had when we talked about on Game Groups too. This idea that I think there will be a story in this game, but I don't think it's going to be like a dedicated story mode. I think it is going to be more like a Fortnite style story where there's going to be like story missions in the game. I'm almost imagining something like Sea of Thieves almost or something
Oh, okay.
where you see like there's story missions and you can do them, but you're kind of always online with some people and people could interrupt your story because it's like a it's more like a breathing world.
Almost
But
like a weird reference, but almost like Dark Souls 3 in a way,
is that I
where
didn't play
you
that one.
you can have people like come into your game and like PvP
Right.
with you.
Yeah, so I think there could be something like that where we see like Fortnite style where there's story happening around you that you're not interacting with, but also you can play as different characters and interact with the story, but there's players in the game with you online. I don't know. I see something like that existing where they're really blending and blurring the lines between online and story. But I don't think they're going to cut out story altogether. I really feel like they know that that's a popular thing, and they're just going to try to build that into the stuff that's profitable for them, which is online. And so it's cool to see them talk about multiple protagonists and an evolving map because it does make me think story.
I'm okay with it being an online game. I guess it is interesting if you're playing as three set protagonists.
Yeah.
What does that look like if you're online with other people playing the
But there are a lot of Trevors all running around in the
right,
same world
right. So
together, and
I
like
wonder how that works. I don't really have many thoughts on what I prefer. I'm fine with it either way. I fully trust Rockstar. Like I don't think they're
yeah.
gonna mess it up. So I just want to see the game. I know
Yeah,
it's so far off, but I'm
I
just
agree.
excited about it.
I think I
Um,
said it before. I said it before. I think that this GTA 5 was their putting their toe in the water into online, and they did the great story and then they did online separately. And I think this is going to be the true jump for them to make a game that's going to last. Like they've made GTA 5 last, what it's going to be. It's going to be like 13 years or something like that, 12 years. I think this will be the real jump to them making a game that they know can last and evolve and really be made to be like that. And
yeah.
so I trust them because it sounds like they did the research, they did the work, they've spent the years kind of supporting online, and they made a good story, and I think they can really nail it.
I know Tom Henderson is a reliable leaker for like I think Battlefield and Call of Duty is like his bread and butter, and so a lot of people were kind of questionable on his GTA 6 stuff.
Hmm.
But the fact that Jason Schreier, who is without a doubt the biggest journalist,
Yeah.
Jeff Grubb is kind of gaining on him now, but Jason Schreier still holds the title of the biggest like reportive,
Yeah.
investigative journalist or whatever I guess in gaming. So the fact that he's corroborating this tells me that this is probably what we're getting, and I am all
Hmm.
for a modern Vice City. That sounds awesome to me. So
Yeah.
yeah, bring it on, Rockstar. Let's do it.
Totally in. Bring it on. Come on. I'm in. Moving forward from there, just a little touch on this. It's not necessarily video game news, but it is, game news.
Adjacent.
I adjacent, yeah. I wouldn't say I would be an authority on Magic the Gathering, so I'm not going to harp on this. But I just saw that Polygon had an exclusive launching, talking about. So we know there's a Magic the Gathering and Dungeons and Dragons collab that's been happening. Now, I haven't been following everything about it, but it's a Forgotten Realms kind of story, and they just came out with the new card, which is going to be a Planeswalker card for Mordenkainen's, or Mordenkainen rather, and there is Mordenkainen's Faithful Hound. It's all built around powering up the Hound, basically drawing cards, making your max hand size larger, making his Hound more powerful. Anyway, the point is, it's very, very cool. This was Gary Gygax, the creator and founder of D&D. This was his personal player character, was Mordenkainen, and so it's really cool to see them make a legendary Planeswalker, get paying homage to Gary Gygax, and paying homage to one of the most known wizards and characters in the Forgotten Realms. So really cool. Just saw that. I thought it was a really neat story, and I thought it was neat that not just the D&D crossover, which I'm already really excited for in Magic. And but I just don't have, for me, it's the thing. I just don't have the money right now for Cardboard Crack, and I don't have the money to even really get into Arena as much as I'd like to. So I'm kind of waiting it out to get back into Magic, but I'm glad to know there's going to be a lot of awesome cards and exciting sets waiting for me when I finally return.
I have nothing to say on this other than it's cool to see these two brands
It's
combining for
it's cool
some.
because Wizard owns both, so Wizards owns
Right,
both. So
right.
why not? Like, why not? It's so cool.
And these are two old brands who really set the bar for a lot of things that we
Yeah,
like. So yeah,
yeah,
it's cool. It's cool to see them
yeah.
coming together
It's
on
cool.
this.
Absolutely. I'm really psyched. In fact, I got psyched right before I saw this story right before we started recording. Probably after this, I'm actually going to go look up a bunch of cool collab stuff, more about the D&D Forgotten Realms sets, because I really haven't looked enough into them. Pretty excited. So yeah, if you've been waiting for it, get in now. It's getting exciting. That is going to be it for our GG replay this week. But don't leave just yet, because we have some things to tell you. That is, first off, we have a Patreon now, which is pretty cool. You don't owe us any money, and you're not our grandmother, so you don't have to give us money every birthday or anything like that. But if you like what you're hearing and you like watching us, you could maybe throw us a buck. We have a couple good levels on our Patreon. We have $1, $3, $5. Really easy. It gives you some exclusive rights to some content. Check some stuff out. It's really awesome. So head on over to goodnightgroofs.com, and you can click the Patreon link, or you can head over to patreon.com/goodnightgroofs and see what we got cooking over there, which is awesome. In addition, this show is also a podcast. It exists in audio only form. So if you're watching our beautiful faces on YouTube right now, you can listen to this anytime you want on Spotify, Apple Podcasts, anywhere podcasts are given to you in your face, in your ear holes. So those exist. You can listen to us while you're honking at people on the highway. It's pretty great. Or if you're listening to us right now and you're like, man, I really want to know how hunky Paul is feel free to head on over to YouTube because our faces are on there and that's pretty neat too. So yeah, or just both. We love it. We love any way you want to consume the content we are funneling to you. And we just want to say to you, any and all support is greatly appreciated because we just want to improve this for you. We want to create great content. We like to do it. It's fun for us. It's a hobby. And also, we would just love to make it better for you. And because we think we have something that those other gaming people don't have, those other journalists don't have. And you know what we have? Well, it's not integrity. I don't know if I'd say that. I'd sell out pretty quickly for for a buck. I don't know. What else is it? Matt, what do we have? I don't know. Our faces are fine. Voices, we're just nice guys. We're funny. I think
We've got moxie.
we got Moxie, kid. We got Moxie. And we're not afraid to be very cringy. So, that might be enjoyable too. Maybe we'll become memed for doing something really embarrassing. Feel free to meme
that's
us
just what I want,
doing
yeah.
something really embarrassing. That's a great way to go viral. That's saying it right here, folks. We'll do anything. Thank you so much for watching and listening to this GG replay for Monday, July 5th, 2021. We can't wait to see you again on Wednesday. And also we hope you enjoyed Game Groofs. If you listen to it on Sunday, we also have another podcast, Game Groofs. Feel free to check it out at goodnightgroofs.com or on any of our channels on YouTube or podcasts, any of that kind of stuff. Yeah. So have a great rest of your evening and good night, Groofs.
My fellow Eorzeans, have a DMCA-friendly day.